Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. This is GGF bringing you episode 1 of what's going to be a new Let's Play. So, I already have a bunch of Let's Plays and stuff going, so why not start a new one? This is going to be for a game that really doesn't need any introduction. It's a classic CRPG, one of the best of all time, I think a lot of people would say. I've probably tried to start this game 3 or 4, maybe 5 times, and always kind of get distracted a little bit in, but yeah, hoping to go further this time. I don't know how long this Let's Play will last, but today we're going to look at character creation, probably for the majority of the episode. So I hope you guys will join me. We'll have this journey together and see where it goes and what's on the path as we go. So without further ado, let's get into episode 1 of Let's Play Arcanum of Steamworks And Magick Obscura. I'm playing the GOG version, which plays very nicely out of the box. I'm not sure what they included with it, but it does do the trick quite well. Whereas I couldn't get the Steam version to actually launch on my computer. Troika Games. Troika, the legendary Troika. I don't know what type of character I want to run yet, or what we're going to do, but we'll figure it out, I'm sure. So let's check out the options first. Module Arcanum, also Vormantown, that's weird. Difficulty, we're going to play on hard, I think. For now, violence filter, default combat. I'm going to go turn-based. Auto attack off, auto switch weapons off, always run off, follower skills on. Video brightness, could turn it up a tab. I don't know what text duration actually means. Floats, minimal. Let's make those verbose, I don't know. Float speed and combat taunts are on. Sound, everything is neutral there. Alright, let's get into it. Single player. New game. We could pick a character, but we're going to create a new character. Alright, let's go, Sunnn. So, first of all, you're the male gender of your race. You tend to be stronger than a female, albeit with a lower constitution. You're the female gender. You can withstand pain, exhaustion, and toxins better than males and receive a +1 to constitution, but are slightly weaker and receive a -1 to strength. Okay, fair enough. Now if we're going to get into this, guys, there's human, dwarf, elf, half-elf, gnome, halfling, half-orc, half ogre, and human again. So that is really interesting. Let's look at the different races. Humans have no special modifiers to their stats and abilities. Humans are the most populous and distributed race by far, having numerous cities and kingdoms throughout the world. They interact with the other races as much as the gnomes, and they interbreed with everything, hence half-elves, half-ogres, half-orcs. They're not inherently predisposed towards magic or technology, but they are the front runners in the latest technological race. Being shorter lived than most of the other races, as well as fairly ingenious tinkerers, they are probably attracted to the quick return on investment that technology promises. Then there's dwarves. The character gains +1 strength and constitution, plus 15% to technological aptitude, and +2 ranks to all tech skills. The character suffers -1 charisma and dexterity and is hampered in throwing spells, or just in throwing spells, finding that they cost twice as much to cast. Dwarven males are short, stocky, bearded people. Although very wide and stout for their height, dwarves tend to be muscular and not fat. They are hardworking, prideful, and focused almost to the point of being humorless. Although most dwarves enjoy a good mead, dwarves tend to be quick to judge and quick to anger. Dwarves dislike elves, but are respectful to humans and gnomes. And it doesn't change if we pick. We can only play a male dwarf. Then we have elves. The character gains +1 dexterity, willpower, and beauty. Beauty's a stat. And 15% to magical aptitude, but suffers -2 constitution, -1 strength, and -2 ranks to all tech skills. Elves are slender and pale, having a natural exotic beauty that is the envy of the other races. Elves are a philosophical race, the dreamers and poets of Arcanum. They prefer to live near forests and rivers, spending their time feasting, singing, and talking. Elves can be rather arrogant to all other races, but they especially disdain dwarves, and doesn't change for female or anything. Then we've got half-elves. The character gains 1 dexterity and beauty and 5% to magical aptitude, but loses 1 point of constitution and 1 rank to all tech skills. In build and appearance, they resemble their human parents more, but some half-elves possess the pointed ears and pale, delicate features associated with their elven parents. Half-elven personality ranges the entire gamut available to humans and elves, although most of them have a natural bent to their personality and enjoy spending time out of doors. Half-elves do not come across as arrogant to the other races and are generally well-liked by everyone. Gnomes. The character gains 2 willpower, 2 ranks of haggle, and 10 to any bad reaction, +10, but suffers -2 points of constitution. Gnomes are short with very big noses, and while not usually overweight, they do tend to get pot-bellied in later years. Gnomes tend to be a hard-working people. They are equally at home in cities, underground, or in the forest. Since they get along well with most other races, and because they love wealth, they tend to be merchants and traders. Like humans, they have little predisposition to either magic or technology. They can use either, but most often they choose to abstain from both. Interesting. Halfling gains 2 dexterity, 2 ranks of prowling, 1 rank of dodge, and 5% critical hit chance, +5%, but then suffers -3 points of strength. We see these stats up here, and we'll go over them in a bit. Halflings are short people, smaller than even gnomes and dwarves. They enjoy cooking and eating and tend to be overweight. They do not wear shoes, instead relying on their heavily soled and hair-topped feet. This also means halflings can be very quiet when they want to be. Halflings are a quiet, rustic folk who tend not to dabble in either magic or technology, although nothing inherent prevents them from doing so. They are regarded as lazy by the other races, but despite this reputation, they're generally well-liked. Half-orc gains 1 constitution and strength, 2 ranks to both melee and dodge, and an extra 10% poison resistance, but loses 2 points of beauty and 2 points of charisma. Half-orcs are the progeny of orc and human parents, usually a male orc and an unwilling female human. This history makes half-orcs a despised segment of the human population. Most half-orcs can pass as full humans, albeit ugly ones, but they usually have some trait that identifies their orcish blood: upturned nose, hairiness, foul temper. To the careful observer, and people usually discriminate against them when they discover their race. Half-orcs are quick-tempered and violent like their orcish parent. Some have learned to control their temper, but this usually means that instead of attacking immediately, they will plot revenge. There's different heal rates, reaction modifiers. Wow, -18, poison recovery 9 compared to halfling, which is 8. Damage bonus is 0, AC adjustment -2. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. They're not as fast as the halflings. Carry weight is different, so all those stats are changing up there. Half-orcs can carry 4,500. Then there's half-ogres, the last of the races. The character gains 4 strength and an extra 10% damage resistance, but then loses 1 point of beauty, 4 points of intelligence, and 2 ranks of prowling. Half-ogres are half-human, half-ogre individuals, a seemingly rare combination. They tend to be large and heavy and thus cannot wear most armor or use certain technological items. In appearance, they resemble but are not as violent as their ogreish parents. They are slow to anger and tend to be gentle with smaller folk, and if acting as bodyguards, they'll defend their charges to the death. Due to their large size, they rarely face open discrimination in human cities. The intelligence is low, and then humans have the very basic stats. I think we're going to be... I'm I'm kind of leaning towards gnome. I always play a half elf or an elf in most RPGs. Before we select a character, like a race, let's see what the stats actually do. If I can, I don't think I can hover over them here. Let's just click forward. You must choose a name. We'll just type in. See, now we can see what the stats do. Strength is physical muscle power. Strength determines how much damage can be inflicted and absorbed. Weapons have a minimum strength to operate them effectively. That's important to know. Constitution, the endurance limits of the body. Constitution determines fatigue and resist to poison in some spells. Dexterity, as overall body coordination. Dexterity affects default ability and more skills than any other stat. Beauty, as physical appearance. Beauty affects the initial reaction of people to this character. This is the alignment meter. This is the character's alignment, a measure of good and evil. It starts at neutral. Intelligence, as mental power. Intelligence affects several skills, as well as being the limiting factor in the learning of spells and technological skills. Willpower, the ability to resist mental influences. Willpower limits spellcasting, affects haggle, and contributes to hit points, fatigue, and certain spell resistances. Perception, the ability to notice surroundings. Perception also affects the ability to use ranged weapons effectively. And charisma, the sum of personality and charm. Charisma affects the ability to persuade others and change their initial reaction. Health, damage will reduce hit points. When it reaches 0, death occurs. Health is based on strength and willpower. Fatigue, casting, encumbrance, and some damage will reduce fatigue points, and when it reaches 0, unconsciousness occurs. Fatigue is based on constitution and willpower. Not going to get into all the skills just yet, but we can look at the derived stats as well. Carry weight, total amount of equipment that can be carried and is based on strength. Damage bonus is extra damage inflicted by any melee attack and is based on strength. AC adjustment. This is an improvement to AC, which makes the character harder to hit. It's based on dexterity. So if we... Okay, so the higher number, the better. This is actually bad for like the gnome to get a -2. Speed. At higher speed, the character moves faster and makes more attacks. Speed can be modified by encumbrance and weapon choice and is based on dexterity. Heal rate is the rate at which hit points are recovered and is based on constitution. Poison recovery. This is the rate at which poison is metabolized, which reduces the damage taken by it. It's based on constitution. Reaction modifier. This is the adjustment to the initial reaction that others have. It's based on beauty. Max followers. This is the maximum number of people who can follow this character because of leadership. It's based on charisma. Then general damage resistance to damage caused by weapons and physical attacks. Resistance to magic spells and effects. Unlike technological aptitude, magic resistance does not affect the use of items or spells. Fire resist by fire and spells that produce fire. Poison. Resistance to damage caused by any kind of poisoning, whether natural, man-made, or supernatural. It's affected by constitution. And electrical resistance. The resistance to damage by electricity and lightning from spells or technological devices. Age 90. Some basic personal information. Okay, let's go back. I don't like that elves disdain dwarves. That can be problematic. But if we were to become a gnome, carry weight isn't too bad. I don't min-max or anything. I just kind of go from a role-playing standpoint. Halfling is interesting. They have very good speed, better AC than the gnome, starting out, but worse damage. Very small carry weight, which is problematic for me. Half-orc has a good damage bonus, actually. Loses beauty and charisma, though. Half-ogre doesn't lose as much beauty, no charisma loss, but intelligence. Great strength, though. I think we may be a gnome. Now we're going to go through the background. So this character creation may take 2 episodes, guys, because there's a lot to get through here that I want to check out before making a character. These are backgrounds. Raised by snake handlers, you receive a 20% increase in your resistance to poison, but suffer a penalty of your beauty, -1, due to the large numbers of bite scars on your arms and legs. And some races have unique backgrounds as well. I discovered that just the other day by tinkering around with character creation. I'm pretty sure some races have some unique backgrounds. I don't know if we'll see them though. Apprentice to a blacksmith, your master is a hard man. You gain a bonus to strength +1 and bonus to your repair skill, but you suffer a penalty to dexterity -2 due to the strenuous and repetitive hard labor. Raised by monks, piety has its advantages and disadvantages. You gain a bonus to perception +1, but renouncing the material world leaves you with only 1/4 of the normal starting wealth. Child of a hero, you start with your father's +1 sword and are known throughout the land as a child of a hero. Therefore, you will incur a terrible negative reaction for any evil act. Inheritance, you were orphaned as a young child and inherited a lot of money. The easy life has cost you a penalty to willpower -1. Most of the money has been spent by now, but you begin with twice the normal starting wealth. Disenfranchised gnome, so this is a unique one, I guess. You're not part of the gnomish capitalist bourgeois and instead grew up as a day laborer. You suffer a penalty to haggle, but gain a bonus to strength +1. Special person, you've suffered congenital brain damage. You lack intelligence -2, but you receive more praise when you do good deeds, resulting in a better reaction from people. Professional knife tosser, you used to work as a knife thrower in a circus until losing an eye in a freak accident. Sadly, you lose a point of perception, but you gain an exceptional bonus to your throwing skill. Apprentice to a shopkeeper, spending your whole childhood inside a shop, you gain an exceptional bonus to haggle, but suffer a penalty of -1 dexterity. Born under a sign, you were born during an astronomical event. As a result, you experience fewer critical hits and critical misses, but when you do get them, the results tend to be spectacular. Extreme personality, people react more strongly to your presence and tend to grow to either love or hate you. Bookworm, you have spent most of your life reading. You gain a bonus to intelligence +1. Unfortunately, myopia has set in, and you lose a point of perception. Bully, you were the class bully, big and dumb. Extortion and intimidation have afforded you a bonus to strength +1, but getting people to do your homework for you leaves you with a deficiency in intelligence -1. Elven blood, your father's great-grandmother was an elf. You get an increase in magical aptitude 5%, but suffer a slight penalty to all tech skills. Hyperactive, you're constantly busy. Your speed is higher than normal, +1, but most people find you annoying, and your charisma suffers -1. Army training, you received some army training during your youth, but were discharged for having flat feet. You gain bonuses to strength +1, as well as slight bonuses to your bow and melee skills, but you have a penalty to dexterity -1. Sheltered childhood, you were cooed and coddled incessantly as a child. As a result of overprotective parenting, you take a severe penalty to strength -6, but being more sensitive, you have bonuses to intelligence +2, willpower +2, and perception +1. Wow, and carry weight 1,000 with that one. Troll offspring, the gods frowned upon you when you were born. Cursed with both trollish looks and mannerisms, you receive severe penalties to beauty -4 and charisma -4. As everyone seems to think that you're spawned from monsters or worse, you often find yourself fending off hunters and holy men, and gain bonuses +2 strength, +2 constitution, +1 dexterity. Ran away with the circus, having ran away with a local troupe of circus performers. You have gained considerable physical strength +6, but have serious deficiencies in intelligence -2, willpower -3, and perception -1 due to all of the schooling that you missed. Raised in the pits, being a veteran in the local pit fights, you gain a bonus +2 to strength and dexterity, and a bonus to all combat skills. The vicious combat has also taken a toll. Head trauma gives you a severe penalty to intelligence -6. As a result, you're not especially good with money. Your entire life savings amounts to a measly 100 coins. Feral child, as an infant, your parents abandoned you in the middle of the forest. Having been raised by a pack of wolves gives you a considerable bonus to dexterity +3, as well as slight bonuses in the thieving skills of prowling and pickpocket. But oblivious of table manners and the rules of good society, you receive a severe penalty to intelligence -6, as well as slight penalties in the social skills of persuasion and haggle. You begin with half the normal starting wealth. Sickly, Mother Nature can be a harsh mistress. Having been born with an extremely weak immune system, you have penalties to strength -2, constitution -4, and dex -1, but all is not lost. Afternoons spent with a fever and a good book have afforded you unnaturally high intelligence, +6. Beat with an ugly stick, you are ugly. There is just no other word for it unless you consider hideous a better word. Children flee from you in terror, and even the kindest of souls finds it difficult to stand your presence for long. As a result of your countenance, you take an extreme penalty, -6 beauty, but because you have had to defend yourself from frequent attacks, you gain a bonus to strength +2, dexterity +2, and a slight bonus to all your combat skills. Ladies man, women swoon whenever they're near you. Being unusually good looking, you gain a large bonus to beauty +6. Unfortunately, all that primping and powdering has you lacking the more manly virtues. You lose 2 constitution, strength, and dexterity, all -2. Raised by orcs, you were a runaway orphan, homeless and starving, when an orcish family in the wilderness took you in and raised you. Their brutish ways have left you with +2 strength and perception, as well as giving you a slight bonus to all combat skills. Unfortunately, your upbringing has also taken its toll on your personality, and you have a severe penalty of -6 charisma. Charlatan's protege, having been convinced by a traveling salesman to become his apprentice, you've given up your life in the military academy you were enrolled in. You gain a major bonus +6 charisma, but lose some physical strength -2, constitution -2, as well as taking slight penalties to all your combat skills. Educator, you're a natural teacher. As you learn skill training, you can teach your followers the previous training step. So as an expert, you can teach your followers as apprentices if they qualify. However, since you spend extra time with each follower, you cannot have as many as usual, -1 to max followers. Barbarian, you were raised among a wild barbarian tribe in a faraway land. No one knows how or why you came to be a passenger aboard the IFS Zephyr, but given your ferocious demeanor, no one tried to find out. You gain bonuses +2 strength, +1 constitution, and a slight bonus to melee, while suffering penalties of -1 intelligence and -2 charisma, and a penalty to haggle. You also possess barbarian armor, but less money than other characters. Nietzsche, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Nietzsche, poster child. Nietzsche once said, "That which does not kill me makes me stronger," and he may have been referring to you. All your life you've been making mistakes, but you always seem to come out better afterwards. In other words, you critically fail more than normal, but have 10% experience point bonus. Soldier's soul. You've made a pact with a demon. In exchange for more magical power, you've dedicated your life to the pursuit of evil. You gain 20% to magical aptitude, but suffer -20 reaction from others and -20 alignment, and your alignment can never go higher. Day Mage, you were born with a magical aptitude that has affinity for the sun. During the day, between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m., you possess a 20% bonus to your magical aptitude, but at night you suffer a 20% penalty. Night Mage, same idea but reversed. Sky Mage, you were born with a magical aptitude that has affinity for the open sky. While outside and in clear view of the sky, you possess a 20% bonus. But while underground, indoors, or even under a heavy forest canopy, you suffer a 20% penalty. Nature Mage, same idea. On man-made surfaces, you suffer 20% penalty. Agoraphobic, you're terrified of open spaces. As a child, you rarely went outdoors and spent your time reading and studying. Gaining a bonus 2 intelligence, you are fine if you're indoors or even in a thickly forested area, but if you go into an outdoor open area, you suffer a panic attack, losing your intelligence bonus and leading to penalties in dex, -2, intelligence -2, and willpower -2. But you do gain a bonus of +2 strength from the fear. Wow, that's wild. Hydrophobic, you're deathly afraid of water and of drowning. As a child, you constantly made up reasons to avoid entering even shallow water, gaining a bonus to persuasion. If you do find yourself in water, you suffer a panic attack, leading to penalties in dex -2, intelligence -2, willpower -2. Same idea, strength +2 from the fear. Magic allergy. You're severely allergic to magical items such that touching them causes you pain. Therefore, you've been devoted to technology since a young age and have deployed a knack for it. You gain a 10% bonus to technological aptitude, but you cannot wield any magical items. Arsonist. You like fire. No, you love fire. Fire, fire, fire. You were always picked on as a kid for being scrawny, receiving penalties of -1 strength and constitution. But you showed them. You studied explosives, gaining +20 expertise, and you burned their homes. Burn them to the ground. Haha. Then you ran away from home and snuck aboard the IFS Zephyr, which seemed highly flammable and an excellent target. You probably would have torched the Zeppelin if it hadn't been shot down. Only child. You grew up as the only child of very permissive parents, and you basically always got your own way. As an adult, you expect nothing less than total obedience of those around you, gaining a bonus 6 willpower, but your temperament leaves much to be desired, resulting in penalties of -4 charisma and persuasion and haggle skills. Mad Doctor. You've performed numerous untested and dangerous medical experiments upon yourself and suffer from the adverse effects. You have bonuses +2 intelligence, +2 perception, 20% poison resist, and 20% electrical resist, and a bonus to your healing skill +1, but you suffer penalties of -1 beauty and charisma, -2 dexterity, -3 constitution. Wow, there's a lot of these. Miracle operation. Though born to a wealthy family as a young child, you mysteriously lost your sight. It was discovered that you contracted a degenerative and always fatal disease. As a blind child, your early development favored indoor activities and development befitting the wealthiest of society. You gain bonuses 3 intelligence, 3 charisma. Your senses of touch, hearing, and smell increase to compensate for your blindness, resulting in a bonus perception +5. However, you suffered physically, leading to -3 strength, -3 dexterity, and -5 constitution. As a young adult, your parents, out of desperation, paid for the services of a renowned, if unorthodox physician who miraculously restored your sight. The operation cost your family its fortune, so you set out to make your own. 1 constitution, but look at these stats. Crazy. Perception. Dex is pretty bad too, though. And carry weight is that of a halfling. I don't know, that's a tempting one though. Heal rate 0. Dark sight. Your eyes are overly sensitive to sight. You're nearly blind in daylight, but you can see perfectly in darkness. Therefore, all skill lighting penalties are reversed for you. So you get a 0 heal rate with Miracle Operation. And terrible -5 AC. Terrible speed too. From the dexterity, I guess. And then no significant background. So that's all of them for Gnome. I think we're going to be a Gnome, and I think we're going to be... This is actually tempting to me. If it wasn't for strength and dexterity. I think we're going to go with... Charlatan's Protege. You gain +6 charisma, but lose some physical strength, constitution, and slight penalty to all combat skills. So we'd have 6 strength, 4 constitution, yeah, pretty bad. Dex and beauty 8, intelligence 8, perception 8, willpower 10, charisma 14. Speed of 8, carry weight 3000, heal rate is 1, poison recovery 4, that's pretty good. I think. I'm not sure exactly if I want to be this character or not. We'll see. We have 5 points to spend. Max followers are 3. Can I make that more? Yep, 4. I think 4 might be the maximum. Interesting. We can't remove points. We can only add. I don't think there's perks in the game. But next episode, we're going to go through all the skills, technological disciplines, and the spell colleges. For right now, we're only 29 minutes in, so we can continue. Let's see here. I have 5 points to spend. I wouldn't mind putting 2 in there to get 4 max followers. 1 point of beauty would take the reaction modifier up 4. And then maybe a point of strength. And a point of con raises heal rate to 2. Maybe something like that. You know, that's not too bad. I love the charisma. And having max followers. What kind of hurts though, here's the magic tech meter. Displays magical technological aptitude. The higher the needle, the more magical, and the lower, the more technological. So it's sort of a balance thing. But I actually think I'm going to make like a dual magic / tech character. I know it's a bad idea. I just would be curious. These are different auto leveling schemes. And you don't really see anything for like a magical tech guy. Gunfighter doctor. Warrior mage, pure melee, yeah. And then, yeah, so I don't know if it's a good idea. I don't think it is. But, I might just have to pick one. But being that we can get 4 followers, that should let us, be able to upgrade quite a few peeps. I don't know if I want to go tech or magic. I'm thinking magic, like wielding a magical sword or something. The thing is though, the points from leveling up here take away from points we can spend over here. We only have 5 points total for everything. So let's take a look now at skills. Skills come in 4 groups: combat, thieving, social, and technological. Let's look at combat. Used primarily to attack and defend oneself during combat. There's bow, short and long bows, dependent upon your dexterity. The ability to dodge an attack or the effect of a trap, dependent upon dex. Melee, chance to land a damaging blow with a hand weapon or while unarmed, dependent on your dex. Minimum dex to raise is 6, okay. Throwing, ability to throw knives, rocks, grenades, or any damaging objects, depends upon dex. Then we go to thieving skills, used primarily by thieves, although they have other non-criminal uses too. Backstab, the art of doing extra damage with a rare melee attack, dependent on dex. Pickpocket, the art of stealing and planting items on other people, or you can plant items, dependent upon dex. Prowling, the skill of hiding and moving quietly to avoid detection. It's based on perception. Spot trap, ability to locate mechanical traps in the immediate vicinity before they're tripped, dependent on perception. Then social skills, they're used on other people or in social situations. Gambling, the skill and luck of winning at cards, dice, and other games of chance, dependent upon intelligence. We actually have a point in haggle. The art of the deal, used to buy goods at less full price, dependent upon willpower. Heal, the ability to cure wounds and reduce crippling injury based on intelligence. And persuasion, ability to convince someone to do an action or that you're telling the truth, dependent upon charisma. And finally, technological skills, those that dabble in technology, it'll increase your technological aptitude. Repair, the skill of repairing damaged items, dependent upon intelligence. Firearms, the ability of marksmanship with technological weapons, dependent upon perception. Pick locks, opening locks without the use of keys, dependent on dexterity. Disarm traps, skill of disabling mechanical traps based on perception. And those are all the skills. Then we go to the technological disciplines. There are 8 disciplines, each with 7 available degrees. Wow. So a lot to go through. I don't know if I'm going to go through all these actually. Herbology. Discipline concerns itself with the study of herbs and how they affect the body. This is the current degree in the selected technological discipline. The number to the right is expertise and controls what kinds of schematics may be used. First is healing salve. Heal wounds quickly and easily. This elixir restores one's health and biological energies without rest or prolonged hospitalization. I don't know if I want to go through all these right now. Assistant. Oh, as you go up in rank, you go to assistant, associate, technician, engineer, professor, doctorate, and your skills get better and better as you go. But we'll just go over the first ones. Chemistry studies man-made substances and their deleterious effects. Strong poison. With this, even the most untested scientists can bring forth a poison to handle any infestation, orcish or otherwise. Electric, effects of charge and magnetism. Electric light, carry a light into the darkest places without the discomfort usually produced by smoking, sputtering torches. Nice. Explosives, covers the research of new and unstable substances. Molotov cocktail, this hot little number makes any situation into an explosive extravaganza. Try it today. Gunsmithy, controls the design and implementation of new weaponry. Handcrafted flintlock, a simple firearm that's perfect when there's just nothing else around. Mechanical, studies the physical properties of materials. Spike trap, this trap drives the spike through almost anything that steps on it. Smithy, discipline, covers the construction of armors of all types. Pure ore, an amalgam iron and steel that allows both increased strength and lightness. And finally, therapeutics, explores pharmaceuticals and their interactions with each other. Elixir of persuasion. With this elixir, you'll be able to talk circles around the most sharp-witted scholar. Very cool. And of course, there's tons to each of them. Then spell colleges. 16 colleges, each with 5 available spells. Just amazing stuff. We'll go through again the first ones. Conveyance, holds spells that deal with motion and transportation. Disarm, the target's weapon is knocked out of its hands if it fails to save. Then Meta, contains spells that affect other people. Resist magic, the target gains magic resistance. Divination, concerns itself with the gathering of knowledge through magical means. Sense alignment, will reveal the alignment of all creatures in the vicinity of the caster. Morph, contains spells that change the substance of the target. Hardened hands, makes the hands of the target creature do more damage. That's really cool. Air, holds the spells that manipulate the first elemental material, that of air and wind. Vitality of air, raises the constitution of the target creature. Nature, contains spells that control plants, animals, and natural forces. Charm beast, this spell causes every animal in the vicinity to gain a good reaction to the player. Earth, holds spells that manipulate the second elemental material, that of earth and stone. Strength of earth, raises the strength of the target creature. Necromantic black, contains spells that negatively affect the life force of a creature. Harm, causes damage to the target creature. Fire, holds the spells that manipulate the third elemental material, that of fire and heat. Agility of fire, raises the dexterity of the target creature. Necromantic white, contains spells that positively affect the life force of a creature. Minor healing, heals a small number of hit points of damage to the target. Water, manipulate the fourth elemental material, that of water and ice. Purity of water, raises the beauty of the target creature. Phantasm, contains spells that concern the control of light and illusion. Illuminate, raises the light level in an area surrounding the target creature. Force, contains spells that manipulate and direct pure energy. Shield of protection, this spell creates a deflective energy screen about the target, increasing its armor class and resistances. Summoning, contains spells that concern the summoning of creatures of progressive power. Plague of insects, summons a swarm of insects which surround and slows the target creature. Mental, spells that influence and control the minds of their targets. Charm, causes the target to be friendly towards the caster if a save is not made. And finally, temporal, spells that control the flow of time. Mage lock, locks any portal. The door or window cannot be lockpicked. Even stuff like that comes into play. So we're probably at the max of our episode right now, so I think I want to call it here. And next time we'll make our serious, put serious effort towards this and pick a character and probably start the game. So I invite you guys to join me for that. I really don't know which way I want to go. The skills are so cool. These all raise no. These raise technological discipline, and these are so cool, like scientific stuff. Whereas the magic is more magical. So I don't really know. We might try to stay in the middle, even though if we like the further you go in each direction, you get stronger in that direction. So you can, if you're up here like 75 past 50, you're super magical, but you also suffer from technology more, and vice versa. So I don't know. Can we play a medium character? I've heard it's possible, I think, but I don't know. We'll see. Like, I like to use guns, a magical sword, and use all this stuff because it's so cool, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. So I want to thank you guys for joining me. Hope you enjoyed this look into character creation for Arcanum. Stay tuned for more episodes. God willing, more will be made. Please like, comment, subscribe before heading out. Also, if you want to be a huge help, guys, you can become a member. Info and links are in the description of this video for that. Feel free to check it out. Because of my members, I'm able to buy like an extra indie game each month, and I'm really grateful for them for that. So shout out to you guys. And yeah, hope to see the rest of y'all next time. We'll make serious choices and jump into the game. So until then, guys, be well, live well, stay well. Much love, peace, and joy. Really hope you dug this episode, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao for now.